Okay.
I am a skeptic at how quickly human beings change.
Yeah.
So
So you're
how
saying,
long? Yeah.
what happens if I'm negotiating with somebody who isn't a believer? And let me share another example with you, if I may.
Yes, please.
I had this friend who thought he was super smart, that he would go and not hire a lawyer to do a trademark.
Hmm.
And he saved himself money, did it himself, 270 bucks on uspto.gov, but forgot that trademark filings are public as soon as you make them.
Hmm.
And when he went to buy the domain name, discovered there was this troll who I'll call Edward Kahn, because that's the guy's name, had gone and bought the domain name as soon as the trademark filings
Right.
were published. And Edward writes to him and says, I'll sell you the domain name for $2,500.
Hmm.
Now, my friend is dumb, but he's not stupid. And so he went and discovered that what Edward has done is called registration in bad faith.
Hmm.
And ICANN, the domain register, has a dispute process that my friend would be sure to win. The only problem is it costs $1,300.
Hmm.
And so he writes back Edward and says, look, I'd rather pay ICANN $1,300 than you $2,500, in which case, by the way, you'll get zero.
Hmm.
So what do you say to taking 500?
Hmm.
And Edward writes back and says, look, I'll give you 1,100. I'll come down from 2,500 to 1,100. You should take that offer. I'm leaving on vacation. Say yes right now. So his first number, 2,500, we call anchoring. He was trying to soften up my friend with a highball number.
Uh-huh.
Now he's doing this next tool you might call time pressure.
Hmm. Hmm.
At this point, my friend brings out the pie. Why are the two parties having a negotiation? Now, my friend might value this domain name at $40,000. But actually, his value of the domain name doesn't matter, because if he does a deal with Edward, he'll get the domain name. If he doesn't do a deal with Edward, ICANN will give him the domain name. So either way, he's getting the domain name. The only question is whether or not they have to pay ICANN $1,300 or not. And in order to save that $1,300, my friend needs Edward, but Edward also needs my friend, because unless they reach an agreement, that $1,300 goes away.
Hmm.
So he explains to Edward, look, I'm prepared. This 1,100 you're proposing isn't fair, because you'd be up 1,100, I'd only be up 200. It'd be like me offering you $200 so that I'd be up 11 and you'd be up 2. I wouldn't expect you to say yes to that. I don't expect you to, so for the same reason you wouldn't say yes to 200, you shouldn't expect me to say yes to 1,100. Let's do 650, 650.
Okay.
So Edward comes back and says 900, and that's the lowest I'll go. I'll never go below that.
Right.
So now he's doing two things. He basically tries to split the difference. Halfway between 1,100 and 650 is 875, but he rounds. So he does a split the difference with an ultimatum.
Hmm.
At this point, my friend doesn't respond. And a week later, Edward writes back and says, okay, 650. And Edward, we know, doesn't care about fairness. We know he doesn't care about the pie. So why does he go along with this? And the answer is that he understands that my friend does care about fairness. And so if he wants to do a deal, he has to do a fair deal. Edward has been doing arbitrary stuff, throwing numbers on the wall like spaghetti, sees if it sticks.
Hmm.
And there's no sense when he says, this is my last number, you're going to believe him, because he's gone from 25 to 11 to 9. My friend has a principled argument, and principle beats arbitrary.
Okay.